Now, to begin, I'm going to teach you the basics of breathing. But first, we're going to break down the lungs into its 3 parts. So the lungs are located here and they come all the way down to the ribs just below here. So first of all, we're going to move to our abdominal breath, or otherwise known as the belly breath. Now, we're not actually breathing in through the belly, we're breathing in through the bottom part of the diaphragm. But as we expand the belly, we create a suction for the oxygen to come into the lower part of the lungs. Now, what this breath is actually going to do, it's going to massage the internal organs that are in the stomach and the sexual organ areas. So this is going to bring fresh oxygenated blood to all of those areas. Now, let's show you how to do it. So first of all, we're going to bring our right hand to our belly, and once again, we're always going to be breathing in and out through our nose. And we're going to forcefully inhale through the nose, and as we do this, the belly is going to expand, kind of like we've got a baby's belly. So if we do this now, bring your eyes down to a close, bring your right hand to your belly, and you'll forcefully inhale through the nose, and as you do this, the belly will expand. So watch here. And then exhale, you'll contract. Squeeze all the excess CO2 out. We're going to take 7 of these together. So take a second one, inhale fully. Expand the belly, exhale, contract. Squeeze it all out. Keep this going. Full inhalation, squeeze the belly out. And exhale, contract. 2 more breaths, inhale fully. Exhale, contract. Last one. And exhale, contract. Squeeze all the excess CO2 out. Relax the hands, relax the shoulders, relax any efforts, and just allow the breath to flow in naturally. In through the nose and out through the nose. And as you're doing this, I want you just to connect with the feelings and the sensations, not just on a physical level, but on all more subtle levels of your being. Where does the mind go, the internal chatter of the mind when we do these exercises? How is the emotional state? And then whenever you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, come back to the space. Now I'm going to show you one more time from the side so you can understand the movement of the belly. But as we do this, we'll inhale fully through the nose and the belly is going to expand. And then you'll exhale, contract. Once again, this is going to use some of the abdominal muscles. So if it feels unnatural at first, that is completely normal. Just like any exercise, the first time you went to the gym or the first time you learnt a language, these things were at first difficult. But just like the gym, we have to train our muscles, and over time it's going to create more space, allowing more oxygen into the lungs. Now, once again, this is going to help with your digestive issues. So if you have any issues in the organs, in the stomach, in the sexual organs, this is going to help to bring fresh oxygenated blood and bring vitality back to that area. On a more spiritual level, this is going to activate your first chakra and your second chakra, Manipura and Swadhisthana. So this is going to be everything to do with feeling grounded in your life, and your second chakra, which is everything to do with your social relations. So now we're going to move up the ribs to our mid-chest breathing. So we're going to forget about the abdominal muscle or the abdominal breath for the time being, and we're going to move up to the chest, to the mid-chest, the ribs here. Now, this area can be stuck and tense for a lot of people, especially men more so, but also women. The reason for this is when we are breathing naturally or normally, most of us are breathing in and out through our mouth, short and shallow, and we don't actually expand the entirety of the lungs. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to bring our hands around just under the chest. You're going to bring the thumbs to the back and the fingers to the front, and you're going to slightly squeeze the ribs. Now, as we do this, you're going to forcefully inhale through the nose and forcefully exhale through the nose. And as we do this, we are expanding the ribs and contracting them kind of like an accordion, but out in all directions. So we're going to just try this together. I want everyone to bring their hands to their ribs. Bring the eyes down to a close, and you're going to forcefully inhale through the nose. Pull the ribs apart, and then forcefully exhale through the nose. contract. Keep the shoulders where they are, focus just on the mid-chest. So inhale again, and exhale, contract. Squeeze it all out. As you can see here, the ribs are moving out and in. Keep this going. Two more breaths. Last breath. Once again, relax the hands now. Keep the eyes closed. Allow the breath just to flow in at its natural rhythm through the nose. And once again, feel every sensation. Notice the differences in this breath compared to the previous one. Do you feel more tingling sensations? Where does the mind go? How are the emotions in this one? And always remember not to get attached to these thoughts, feelings or sensations, but just to allow them to pass by with every inhale and every exhale. Remember, you observe all of these things. Now, whenever you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, come back to the space. Now, what's happening here on a scientific level, when we are breathing deeply and expanding and contracting the ribs, we are once again massaging the internal organs. Now, the internal organs here, you have your two lungs, you have your heart, and then just above your heart, you have your thymus gland. Now, your thymus gland is an extremely important gland which is responsible for the creation of white blood cells. So it helps to activate your autoimmune system. So what we're doing here, once again, we're massaging those areas, we're bringing fresh oxygenated blood, and once again bringing vitality back to the system. Now, what we are doing on a more spiritual and emotional level here is we're activating our third chakra, which is Manipura. This is everything to do with energy, how we get energy in our life. This is go, go, go. Now, we're also activating our heart chakra, Anahata. So this is everything to do with being open and giving to the world. So now we will move up to the last 5 to 10% of the lungs, which are just here. And this is what most people are breathing with in their day-to-day life. And as I said earlier, most people are breathing short and shallow through their mouth and only using this top part and very constricted, not allowing enough oxygen to get into the body. So the way we are going to do this breathing exercise is we'll bring our right hand up to the tiny little dimple in the neck here. And we're going to forcefully inhale once again through the nose, and as we do this, the shoulders will rise up like this. So you'll inhale, shoulders will rise up, the head will sink into the neck, and then exhale, we come down. We're going to take 7 of these again together, and once again, after the 7th, I want you to just relax your hands, keep the eyes closed, allow the breath to flow in naturally, and once again, feel every sensation. So when you're ready, I want you to bring your right hand to the little dimple in the neck here, and bring the eyes down to a close, and with an inhale through the nose, rise the shoulders up, and exhale through the nose, bring the shoulders down. That's 1, and again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last one, 7. Relax the hands down once again, relax any efforts, relax the shoulders, and allow the breath just to flow back in naturally again. And once more, feel every sensation. And as you're feeling those sensations, just notice the differences now in this breath compared to the previous 2. And remember, feel on more than just the physical level, but on all more subtle levels of your being. Now, whenever you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, come back to the space. Now, once again, on a scientific level, what we're doing here is we're massaging our thymus gland located above the head, above the heart. And our second part that we're massaging is our thyroid glands in our neck. And we're also helping to activate our voice box. So on a more spiritual level, this is activating your 5th chakra Vishuddha and your 6th chakra Ajna. So what that basically means is it's helping us to communicate more authentically. We'll speak our truth and have more confidence. And the other thing it's doing is it's helping our connection to our higher, more creative levels of mind and higher levels of consciousness. Now, with that being said, all of those 3 parts of the breath, we can now combine that into one fluid movement. Now, this is called Mahat Pranayama Yoga, or otherwise known as the full or grand yogic breath. And this is what we are going to be breathing with our entire life. So the way we do this, we are once again going to be combining those 3 parts of the breath, but into one fluid movement. So we'll be starting in the belly, we'll be moving up to the mid-chest and then up to the top of our chest. We should be taking around 2 seconds each part and keep it nice and slow. As we do this, we're going to start with the belly, and when we move up to the mid-chest, the belly is naturally going to go in. And once we get up to the last top 5 to 10% of the lungs, it's literally just a case of topping up the rest of the lung capacity. So we're gonna just watch me first, and then we're gonna take 7 more together and just feel once again. So if you have a look here, I'll put my right hand on my belly so that you can see, but you're gonna start with an inhale and you're gonna fill the belly up first for about 2 seconds. So you'll inhale, and then when you come up to the mid-chest, naturally the stomach is going to come in, and then with the last part of the lungs, you're just topping up the oxygen in the lungs. Now with the exhalation, it's really important that you squeeze from the belly all the way out to the top of the chest. So you'll squeeze from the bottom, squeezing the belly, and squeezing all the excess CO2 out. Now the reason we're trying to get out as much CO2 as possible is so that we can fill the lungs up and therefore the bloodstream with an abundance of fresh oxygenated blood. If we have excess CO2 left in the lungs, that CO2 is then going to mix with the oxygen and then go back around the system. So the whole goal of this is to fill the lungs up with as much oxygen as possible, and therefore prana, and then with every exhalation you're squeezing out to make sure that all of the excess CO2 is out. So we're going to try this together now for 7 breaths. After the 7th breath, you can inhale, you can hold the lungs full of oxygen for a couple of seconds, and then when you're ready to exhale, you can just release and squeeze and allow the breath to flow back in naturally. So let's do this together. Sitting up nice and tall, bring the eyes down to a close. Just allow your breath to flow in naturally, in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Okay, now bring the right hand to the belly and take an inhale through the nose, and we're going to take 2 seconds each part. So inhale, and then exhale, squeeze it all out from the bottom to the top. Exhaling through the nose, squeeze it all out, and again inhale fully, belly, mid-chest, upper, and exhale, squeeze it all out. And again. Four more breaths. Two more breaths. Exhale, squeeze it all out. Last breath, inhale fully. If you want, you can hold the lungs for a couple of seconds. And then exhale, squeeze everything out, release all the CO2 through the nose. And then just allow the breath to flow in naturally, relax any efforts, and once again, feel the sensations. Now in your own time, whenever you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, come back to the space. Now, this breathing exercise, or the Mahat Pranayama Yoga, the full grand yogic breath, this is how I would recommend you breathe your entire day, okay? What's gonna happen is you're gonna go back to your old way of breathing. Now, as I mentioned before, most of us are breathing shallow, sharp and shallow through the mouth, and using only about 5 to 10% of the top part of the lungs. So when you notice that you're stressed out or anxious, what I want you to do is just come back to the way we just learnt to breathe there, and take a couple of big deep inhales and focus on expanding the 3 parts of the breath and exhaling fully. After about 3 to 5 of those breaths, you're going to notice that you've now switched on your parasympathetic nervous system and coming back down, and everything's starting to relax. After a while, you're going to forget again, and then once again remember. You may go a couple of days, you may go a couple of weeks, but then you'll remember, and the second you remember, come back to this. And what we're basically doing is you're training yourself to eventually be breathing like this your whole time. So at one time it might take a week for you to remember, then 5 days, then 3 days, then a day, then a couple of hours, and then ultimately you're going to be so in tune with your body that when you're stressed out and anxious, you're going to immediately come back to your breath, and you're going to use your breath to control that autonomic nervous system. Remember the responses: rest and digest, and fight and flight.